guys. So does anyone know if your phone rings, I can swipe to the left to ignore the call. So, but it just made my scope totally close. Has anyone ever had that happen before? Anyone on here who ever does Periscope? Is there a way to get around that if a phone call comes in? And here's my other question. These are things I need to figure out. I thought that if I put my phone on airplane mode, then I wouldn't get wireless. But is there a way of doing it? Thanks, Alyssa. So that I just don't get interrupted by phone calls and stuff, but I can still connect. Does anyone know the answer to that? On an iPhone, you can do it that way. I really need to look into that because I usually don't get interrupted by phone calls, but I didn't think that it would totally disconnect my scope when I tried to. So you can connect to Wi-Fi. Okay, I'm going to try that next time. Try connecting on airplane mode. All right. Thanks, Mandy, for that tip. Okay, so back to Christy's question about just moving to a new home, how to make that an easier transition with Etsy. So as far as the technical side of things, obviously you're going to want to go into your shipping labels and you're going to want to change your address that you're shipping from so that is not shipping from your old address. But as far as, Christy, you want to give me more specifics on what you're asking? Like, are you meaning just in general to try to make the move and like with orders, that kind of thing? If you're talking about like if you're moving and you have outstanding orders, you may want to either make a goal to really push hard to get some orders out the door so that you have a little bit of margin, and then extend your processing times. So like let's say you're going to move on, I'll just make this up, let's say you're going to move on April 5th and you decide, okay, I'm going to have everything that's an outstanding order, or just vacation mode organizing. Okay, so you might just pick a date to go, okay, everything that's ordered by this date, I'm going to have finished and mailed by April 2nd. And then whatever date you choose as that cutoff, I would change your processing time that day. So like, let's say March 29th is going to be your cutoff for orders that are come in through then. You're going to have mailed by a certain date. Then March 29th, change your processing time to longer than usual so that any orders that start coming in that day aren't going to have a turnaround time that's going to fall during your move. And that'll give you margin. And be generous with yourself. Don't cut it too close because you know things that can go wrong and issues and how tired you'll be from moving. So make that processing time longer. And then I don't know what, as far as your shop items, if they're mostly made to order or ready to ship. If they're ready to ship, you might be able to get away with not having to go on vacation mode, but just make the processing time longer between the time that it's ordered and when it'll actually go out the door. But if it's mostly custom, yeah, I think I avoid vacation mode because I do think it can impact where you fall in search when your items are not searchable for a while. It probably depends on how long you are on vacation mode. But if you can get away with it by extending your processing times instead of going on vacation mode, you might try that. But if you start to feel really overwhelmed, don't be afraid of vacation mode because sometimes your sanity is worth it, even if it affects you in search a little bit. So that would be my recommendation. And then as far as getting organized, you might just be really intentional when you're packaging and boxing up your stuff to keep the stuff that you know you're going to need accessible to work on handy so that even if you have to unpack and be processing orders before the rest of your house is unpacked, at least you will have that stuff handy. And you may even decide to deactivate certain listings in your shop that are more time consuming or that it won't be as easy to work in chaos with, and just have the ones that are a little bit simpler to make if you want to keep having some listings active while you're making that transition. So that's my advice. I opened my shop after I moved into this house, so I haven't ever had to deal with having a business and moving, but I can imagine that it can be really stressful. So take it easy on yourself and don't worry too much about it, about the processing times having to be lengthened. What is better, the banner with your best items or just the name of the store? Oh, I'm glad that answered your question as well. So the way that the new format is, because of the fact that your shop icon is so close to your cover image or banner, both on a browser, they're like the icon is right underneath it, and then in a mobile device, it's like touching, basically. I think that if you have your shop name in your logo, that your banner or cover image should not have your shop name because it's really redundant because they're so close. So what I did is I went with the background is an image of products, not an image of a bunch of different products. It's an image of a bunch of mine lined up, so it's not super busy and distracting. And then I did in the middle of it a white, kind of opaque. It's not completely white, but there's a little bit of transparency to it, overlay. And then I put my tagline. So mine is putting the beauty in budgeting. So then it kind of tells what my shop is about. So when someone sees that, they see a little bit of an image of my products and what my shop is about, and then right underneath is the shop icon with my shop name. So I feel like that adds a little bit more personality to it, and then that's a way of really getting their attention of, this is what my goal is. Put the beauty in budgeting. I make pretty things for you to use to live on a budget and categorize your money. So I think if you don't have your shop name in your logo, if it's just an image, maybe your business logo does not have the whole shop name, then you might consider putting your shop name in your cover image or banner. What do I use for the Google search line so it's not redundant? If you're talking about the shop title, I do not restate my shop name in the shop title because I want Google to find my shop based on keyword phrases of what I sell. So my shop title is Cash Envelope System Wallets for Every Budget. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. Because I want Google to pick up Cash Envelope System Wallets. If someone Googles the Tide for Everything because they know my business name, they're going to find me easily. But if someone just is looking for Cash Envelope System Wallets on Google, that's a lot more, so different from your, it could be different from your tagline, or it could be the same. It just depends, but super important to put your the main keyword phrase that you are optimizing for in your shop title. Kareth, it's a time for everything with a number 4 instead of the word 4. Now, the shop announcement, Tracy, is what's below that. So the shop announcement is the longer thing. Right now, the shop announcement displays, I think, about 3 lines in the current shop format, and then you can click Read More, and then it just pops out as a box that you can then close the X to. It pops out in front of your shop. In the new format, the shop announcement is about 2 lines. I think I wrote it down. I counted. It's about 160 characters in a browser, but in mobile view, now obviously we have not been able to view our shops in the app in the new format yet. But in mobile view, if you go to like Etsy.com on a mobile device and look at your shop, it's about 85 characters that show up in the shop announcement. So it's even smaller. But the shop announcement is the thing that in the new view, when you open it, it becomes huge and you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of it to even see any listings. So I was encouraging people, just put what's necessary in your shop announcement, because if someone clicks on it and opens it and it's a lot of stuff, they're going to have to do a lot of scrolling. So I'm actually taking most of my shop announcement content and I'm going to move it. I was going to move it to the Q&A section of the policies, but I'm not sure I can use the Q&A section if I'm not using their new policy layout. So I've got to think about that. But I've had a bunch of information in my shop announcement just because I could, and I am not going to keep it there anymore. Now, here's the bad news about the shop announcement. This is something I wanted to share with you. This kind of makes me mad. I hope this gets changed, but I don't have a lot of hope.